Welcome to this episode of Purpose for Money, where we are going to talk about, is the American dream dead? I'm your host, Robroy Wiley, investor coach. I help my clients recognize those behaviors that can derail them from achieving their financial goals and helping them disarm them. And with me is my co-host, Jim Hogan, mental toughness and emotional intelligence coach. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Robroy. Good to be here today. How are you?
I'm good. I am interested in exploring this topic of, is the American dream dead? You know, with everything that has just been going on, and hear your perspective. Of course, I have mine, and
Sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. And,
that,
you know, and which is the fun part. And I'll say, when we first posed that question, and if you listen to news, what does it say? Hey, the American dream's dead. We're going down a hole. What are we going to do? Oh my gosh. And then you start to think, and is that factual or is that, irrational thought? I think perspective has a lot to do with that. And with when you find purpose, I think it's easier to answer that question.
it is. And just a few facts. Okay, so 56% of all venture capital is done in the US.
50, you said
56% of all venture capital is done here in the US.
So we create innovation. I mean,
we do. And at 2015, we had the highest startups, or the highest amount of startups in the US. So is the American dream dead, or is the American dream being redefined?
Of those the majority of the world startups is what you said, right? I don't remember the number. But what group is creating those startups? Who are taking those innovative chances? And, who's doing that?
Oh, I think it's across each generation. So, I mean, you have your millennials that are doing their, startups, maybe more in technology, that arena. Then you've got your Gen X, your professionals who either may have had layoffs, or they may have said, you know what, I've got enough experience, expertise that I want to go out on my own. I don't want to have, a boss breathing down my neck. I want to have the ability to travel, spend more time with my family, be able to actually, dictate my schedule to more my needs than somebody else's, and I can build my own business.
So full disclosure here, Robroy, I'm a tail end of the baby boomers.
Really?
Yeah. So I've told people that I probably was born in the wrong generation, because I feel I act like a millennial, and that's not being childish. That's just because I have energy, I have desire, dreams, and I'm doing things that I wish I had done when I was a kid. Now, where do you fit into this scale of life and generations?
I am pretty much smack in the middle of Generation X. So I would be more considered an intrapreneur.
Okay.
Because I do work for my family's advisory firm. However, I am also the one I don't want to say creating, but taking on different aspects of marketing, and also the coaching side that in some cases we haven't done in the past.
So what motivates you, or what inspires you? And those are two different questions, Robroy.
You're putting me on the spot. Okay. So of course, motivation is, freedom to be able to have, work out my schedule the way that I like it. What inspires me is, being able to really, and I know this kind of sounds cliche, but to be able to help people, especially achieve their American dream. Because, you know, as we've had this discussion um, beforehand, you know, we were discussing where the American dream was more cookie cutter.
And that would be, I mean, I watched my family grow, and that was having a house, having a car, a job for life almost, right?
Yeah.
And you know, 2.5 kids, right? That was the American dream. I made it.
Yeah, that was, and I think, you know, the media says, well, you know, the American dream is maybe dead or dying or whatever. But I think the American dream is being redefined. We still have the motivation to want to have freedom, but we're getting inspired to do other things or to create our own path. So everything's not as cookie cutter. So it's not like post World War II, boom, yes, they moved out to the suburbs, they had the house, they had the job for, or the career for life for 30, 40, 50 years, however long they worked, and they had the kids, they went on vacation maybe twice a year. And I think now, as with any time period, the American dream is being redefined.
And the redefined is the interesting part. And I think it's different for me than it is for you, although we have some similarities. For the much younger generation of millennials who, you know, we can talk about, they feel entitled. I'll beg to differ on that. That'll be another discussion. I think there's some issues, but hey, don't we all have those? You know, millennials, some people say they're disloyal. I'm also going to beg to differ. They just want people to earn loyalty, and that's been very difficult for them. You know, it's hard to earn loyalty. And respect, and it takes a really good leader to do that. And that's leader from the top all the way to your immediate supervisor and the people you work around. You know, and that's created its own issue. You know, extremely. You know, and the inspiration comes into that because what do they say? You know, their dream is different than mine was, but mine keeps changing and evolving. I probably is a better way to look at that. But they want to be inspired by the company, what it believes in, not just you have a job, which used to be part of the American dream for life, right? And you get a retirement plan and you do this and you live our way because that's how we tell you to live, instead of, I want to create my own life. I mean, you know, do you want to live? And look, I have too much stuff. I can't live in a tiny house, but I think that's one of the coolest shows on TV, to watch how people can downsize and go live there. You know, not my dream, but you know what? It lets them do what they truly want to do and what inspires them, which may mean travel, independence, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, I want to say, you know, I don't have any statistics or numbers on this, but I think more the American dream is about experiences, being able to see different places, doing different activities, being able to have that flexibility and that adaptability to whatever is going on.
So you've got these great big companies and even mid-sized companies that aren't designed to help people have experiences or find inspiration inside of the companies, which is creating a real problem inside the workforce. Motivational versus inspirational. And those two pieces can sometimes fight against each other. They're motivated to get that paycheck or not, but they're inspired to do good for the world, for a specific community, for something. And you can see the companies that thrive under those kind of circumstances, and that's when you gain loyalty from, and it's not just millennials. You gain loyalty under those circumstances from a wide variety of you know, generations. I mean, me also. I'm inspired to buy products because of what the company stands for. No question.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, inspiration, especially the company's mission, their message, what they do, their integrity, what they're all about.
Yep.
I think is more important, especially to, I think, us as Americans, and that being actually, I think, one of the components of the American dream and the redefining it. So I don't think that the American dream is dead, but I think it's being redefined.
And I'll agree, but also show you a disagree, because the American dream, as it was defined by somebody else, I'd consider it dead. However, I think there are an unlimited supply of American dreams. I do, you do, have to choose what that's going to be for you, and strive and drive towards that versus trying to fill somebody else's drives and desires. I think that is what the world is going to be. I think I use the word being nimble and flexible from a company standpoint, but also from an individual standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think that also means taking responsibility for your successes and your failures, which is a deeper discussion down the road. And I think we can go down that road. But I always love these conversations, Robroy, because we think ahead, and I am always looking for answers, but not always finding one. You find multiple answers. And just from one generation to another and to all the other ones out there, I just want to thank you.
Oh.
Well, you. No. I should say thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I'm like, I'm not opposed to being thanked, but
that was almost a senior moment for me. I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. So as we wrap up this episode, if you're watching this, tell us in the comments, what do you think? Is the American dream dead? Or how are you, actually more importantly, how are you redefining your American dream? So Jim, if somebody wanted to reach out, how can they find you?
They can find me at Twitter at Jim Hogan Consult, or on my website at jimhogan.net. There's a way to contact me any number of ways there, or email at jimhogan@jimhogan.net. And I look forward to chit-chatting and learning about other people in the world and what their drives and desires, and truly where the internal purpose is driving your inspiration forward.
And I'm Robroy Wiley. You can find out more information about me at actually smartplaninvesting.com, or you can email me at robroy@smartplaninvesting.com. Pretty simple. Thanks.
Until next time, Robroy.